What's up, everybody? Welcome to Hammer Down Motorsports. If you guys are new to the channel, my name is Steve Fass. I hope you guys are having an amazing day out here in Pennsylvania. We got no clouds in the sky, the bugs are going crazy, and we do have some news on the channel. Yes, if you guys saw my Instagram story, the 2019 Ram Laramie Sport is at its new home. Somebody wanted it more than I did, and we let that truck go. So we have an opportunity now to make this beautiful F-150 the feature truck on the channel, because it's nothing more solid than a good old F-150. I think this might be the prototype for the new Ford tailgate. All right, so all jokes aside, we are in the market for a new truck, and this is going to give you guys an opportunity to drop in the comment section and have your input on our next purchase. All right, so as you guys may know, we are not biased against any particular brand. We do have Ford, Dodge, and Chevy on the channel. And I really wasn't biased against buying another Ram necessarily. I would have considered maybe a Ford Super Duty or even possibly one of the new Chevy trucks, but I actually went out and I kind of just shopped around. I went and looked at each one of the trucks. I went and sat in the Super Duty. I was actually kind of in my mind a little bit sold on buying one of those trucks because I always wanted a Super Duty with the diesel and everything like that. So I went and checked one out just to kind of either cross it off the list or maybe get my mind thinking, and just I wanted to have that closure that, okay, I don't want that truck at the end of the day, so I gave it the opportunity. So I went over to the Ford dealership. They had an all black Super Duty F350 single wheel. It was the diesel, and it was pretty awesome. It's a huge truck. I mean, these trucks seem like they're a lifted truck right from the factory. So I got the keys to one. The salesman left me alone with it for a while. I just I started it up, I walked around, I kind of just did the whole thing, absorbed the truck just to see what I really thought of it. And at the end of the day, I do already have a diesel. I don't like Tier 4 emissions. I don't like the DEF fluid and all that kind of stuff that goes along with the new diesel. Yes, you can delete them, but then there's another whole thing with your warranty, and then getting somebody that will delete it or trying to buy the parts. Now they're getting harder and harder to find, especially with newer model years and programming and all that kind of stuff. It's just a whole thing I don't really want to have to get into if I don't have to, just for a new truck daily driver. If you want to trade it in after 3 years, if it's deleted, you might have issues. I don't know. It's just a whole thing I didn't want to have to deal with. So even though the Super Duty was kind of on the top of my list for spending that much money on another truck, I was able to pass by it and say, okay, this is probably not a good fit for me, being that we already have a diesel and I'm probably not going to need that for a daily driver. So as far as Chevy goes, the new 3/4 tons, the Denalis, I went to the GMC dealership where I bought our Yukon XL, and they actually had two of the new style 3/4 ton trucks with a 6.6 liter gas engine. And they showed me the truck, I checked out the interior and all that kind of good stuff, and it just, I don't know, there's something about it that really just didn't fit me. It's not that it's a bad truck or anything, don't get me wrong, but if you go inside that truck and you look at the screens, you look at just kind of the way the dash is laid out, it didn't fit me personally. That's kind of the best way I can put it. I didn't like the way the screen was just super small and they're trying to sell me on their heads-up display. Just really, I don't know, heads-up display is not a center screen, and once you've had a 12-inch screen in the center of your truck like our 2019 Ram had, it's really hard to go back to anything else, especially something that's probably smaller than my iPhone. Another thing with the GMC was the center screen on the dash. It looks really cheap. The gauges look really cheap, and this is a Denali. This is a top trim level. Now, compared to our Yukon XL, the Yukon XL has a really nice gauge cluster. I find it to be kind of similar to the Camaro, where you can change the center and all that kind of thing. This one has kind of more of a utilitarian truck kind of console with a small, really kind of dated looking screen, and I thought for a refreshed model of a truck, they probably could have done a whole lot better than that to make it look a little more modern. But not trashing on the GMC too bad. I do like the body styling. I'm not a big fan of that weird tailgate that folds in like 40 different things like a transformer. But I do like the front end. I love the headlights. I love the way that whole thing works with that huge grille. It's a really nice looking truck. But when I sit in it and I just kind of think about me driving that truck every day, there's things about it that I really don't want to have to live with. So I'm going to have to pass on the GM as well. Not to mention those little orange marker lights that are over top of the wheel wells. They stick out like a sore thumb, and they definitely need to be blacked out or something. That's the first thing I would do if I ever had one of those trucks. So as far as half tons for Ford and Chevy, basically I don't like the F-150 engine choices. I would probably get a Coyote, but I do not like the EcoBoost. I know there's a million people out there, oh, I love my EcoBoost, it's the greatest thing ever. It's just not for me. That's just a personal thing. I don't really care for the turbocharging, just because the turbo is a wear item. There's going to be issues down the road. It's just going to be something you're going to have to replace. And there's so much plumbing that goes on those engines, not to mention their overhead cam. They've had issues in the past with timing chains. I think the new version has kind of revised that. It's just a Ford thing with the overhead cam, and if you ever have to do a head gasket, it's stupid money because you have to replace all kinds of extra stuff. I really like to stick with a push rod engine, which Ford is actually coming back with a 7.3 liter Godzilla, which would be pretty awesome, but that's something we might have to consider down the road. And as far as the Chevy goes, I'm not really fond of the rear suspension on them. They have the leaf spring suspension, and I really like the ride of the coils of the Ram. And honestly, I probably wouldn't have gotten rid of the Ram if it wasn't for the circumstances that we were in with that truck. And the fact that there was a few options that I really wanted on that truck, and they just weren't there. We didn't have a 360 camera, we didn't have the panoramic sunroof, we didn't have air ride, which I'm not even entirely sure that I want. So I really actually am leaning towards getting another new Ram. So definitely drop it in the comments. If you were to buy another Ram tomorrow and you could choose any options you wanted, definitely drop that in the comments and give me some ideas of what you guys want to see here on the channel. I am definitely leaning that way. And after already having the 2019 Ram for about 7 months, I think is what we had it for 5,000 miles, there is a few things that I wish I had. And honestly, the panoramic sunroof is something that I would definitely go for. And also, there's a few things like the rear diff lock I would definitely want. And I want one with better tires, because the tires that came with that Laramie was just, they're junk. I mean, honestly, you're spinning everywhere. Even if it's slightly a little bit wet out, you step on the gas just mildly, it's spinning the tires. It's just something that I definitely was going to replace. And if I have an option, I'm going to get one that has that right from the factory, so I don't have to go out and buy tires right away or live with junky tires for 2 or 3 years. So basically our choices have come down to this. There is the Laramie Limited package, which is your fully loaded flagship Ram truck, and they have all kinds of options, which is pretty awesome. I don't know if the styling of that truck necessarily fits me necessarily. We could always go with another Laramie. They do have a 4-wheel drive package which has better tires, and we can get the panoramic sunroof, we can get a 360 camera, we can get air suspension, all that kind of good stuff. Air suspension I've been on the fence about. I'm not sure if that's something I really want. I do like the functionality of it, where if you put a trailer on it, it's going to level out and you can raise and lower it. But if you want to put a big lift kit on it, I mean, there is lifts that are compatible, but how good are the airbags? How long are they going to last? Is that something I'm going to have to worry about having issues with in the future? Or should I just get regular suspension and then not have to worry about any of that kind of stuff? It's really kind of something that I have to consider. And then there is always the option of having the Ram Rebel. Now the Ram Rebel, it doesn't have all the frills of the Laramie. You don't get cooled seats. There's no 360 camera available, but you do get a lot of the other stuff. And it is really sporty. It's kind of more, I would say, more my style. I mean, I'm not entirely sold on the front end of it, but it is definitely growing on me. So drop in the comments, what truck should we get? Should we get a Laramie Limited? Should we get another Laramie with all the other options that we wish we would have had on the last one? Or should we go get a Ram Rebel, sacrifice a few options, and get a truck that we can go play with off-road a little bit? So there you have it, everybody. We are in the market for a new truck. We are going to be getting another Ram build on the channel. So definitely drop in the comments, which model should we get? Which spec should we get? What option should we get? Because this is going to be our truck that's going to stick around on the channel for a little while. And we're going to be putting some awesome mods on this truck. We already have some stuff coming. Some of the stuff was coming for the other truck, and now it's going to go onto the new truck. Kind of another reason why we're going with another Ram, because we already had a lot of things in play on that truck. And now we're just going to have the platform that we wanted right from the beginning, and it's going to be absolutely amazing. So I hope you guys are as excited about this as I am. Drop your comments in the comments section. And if you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. And as always, keep that hammer down.